Welcome to Healing Step to Wellness with Dr. J and May. I'm Dr. J,
I'm May.
your trusted guide to a whole person health, one step
And one bite
at a
at a
time.
time.
Welcome to Healing Step of Wellness with Dr. J and May, and a space rooted in science, guided by compassion.
That's right. It's a space for us to share about our passion, a lot of great information about lifestyle medicine. Also, our guest speaker come here to share their knowledge and their passion, mission with all our listeners. So I'm so excited to welcome Dawn Ritter.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Exciting to be here. I appreciate it.
So, Dawn is a very experienced nurse practitioner. Well, before she became the nurse practitioner, she had a significant experience as a research dietitian, working in the at a clinical site at a Mayo Clinic for more than 25 years, and then follow her passion, retire from Mayo and practice at a Rochester Clinic, but also she has her kind of a practice at in Owatonna. So today we will focus on her involvement at the Rochester Clinic and why she drive all the way to Rochester. And anyway, there are a lot of great topics that we can chat about. So, Dawn, why don't you tell us about you?
Thank you. I am a nurse practitioner, raised in a family of medicine, in a very thriving home where we talked a lot about taking care of ourselves. So when I went into nursing, and I was trained in Rochester, Minnesota, went on for my baccalaureate and master's degree in hopes that I would be able to really interact much more closely with people. My certification is, excuse me, in family medicine. And whenever we talk about a family, it's another unit of integrative whole. So it just fit beautifully that I was seeing elder people, young people. And what I learned in that process of working in the medical model is that we were still missing very important components that people need in their journey for health. So we did a great job at making sure we had the checkups, and yet there was this ongoing, well, I've got these concerns. How do we address them? Well, we can't really address them today, or we'll send you somewhere else. So I was able to move into a practice of integrative medicine, did a postmaster's certificate at the U of M, and really found that I know that as a nurse practitioner, I have much more to offer people when they're seeking ongoing integrative health and wellness. So the opportunity to come to Rochester when I'm practicing also in Owatonna helps me thrive. I need to be in circle, the tribe, they say, of me growing, learning, and Rochester Clinic does that so beautifully for me. So it's a win-win.
Great. So let's start with one of the components. Actually, the major component is the cornerstone of a whole food plant-based nutrition. Can you talk about what drew you there?
It was, again, a very personal journey. I was practicing in family medicine, very busy. As we know, the days move quickly. I was finding myself being under quite a bit of stress and started having some digestive issues. So I thought, my gosh, I'm not really breaking down my food well. I wasn't feeling well. And so I was trying to find some more simple, more nutritious meals for myself to take to work and such. Well, lo and behold, that became more vegetables, more fiber, protecting my digestion. And then as I did more research in it, it's where I get the most of my nutrition. So I was beholden to share that with people. There's plenty of meat available, and in my family also, there's a lot of meat lovers, but we are missing essential components in supporting our immune system, our digestive system, our mental health when we are not eating enough plants. So it just has evolved to a place in my life where I'm walking the talk and feeling the benefits of this lifestyle. And then the literature is clear. So it evolved from my own seeking for my own healing.
Okay, so I think let's take a step back. Let's talk about what is functional medicine.
Yes.
How it differs from the conventional medicine, and really how it can complement the lifestyle medicine, and what does it mean for women's health, something like that.
Absolutely. I know that conventional medicine has its own healing components. We have done miraculous things for people. However, in my practice and in my knowledge of medicine today, which is some people call it medicine 101, is we're diagnosing and treating and hoping to bring the body into feeling better as quickly as possible. What we have missed is this functional medicine component of understanding how the body can heal itself. And people have missed that message. And oftentimes I have these conversations and there's tearfulness when I say, your body is created to heal under the correct circumstances. So in functional medicine, we dive into what is the underlying cause of how you got to this place. How do we start peeling that back for healing? And lifestyle medicine is an essential component to that process. Because if we are not maintaining our connections with people, our food that we eat, the sleep that we need, decreasing the stress response, we will be sick. And that is how we truly, pain, poor nutrition, mental health, these are all rooted in an underlying need for change and growth. So functional medicine provides us that process. It's a wonderful process for a practitioner to follow. And then we hold people up with lifestyle. And it works, and it helps people thrive. So different. It's very different from me breaking a bone and needing to go in and get that bone fixed. But we need all of this medicine. But our communities are pushing more for integrative care because we know we're integrative beings. And it's an exciting place to be because people are healing.
So beautiful, Dawn. I capture the word that you say, especially the way that how you interpret the functional medicine is so simple. You mentioned about it truly is we need to identify how we can allow our body to heal and resume the function that it's supposed to be. Um, so as you are passionate about a functional medicine, what is your day-to-day practice look like?
So my practice, I offer the opportunity for people to share their bigger story, which I've experienced myself, that, and especially in a time where practitioners are transitioning into different clinics, we maybe don't know people as well, and then we're doing these more focused visits in our offices. I choose to have a broad circle of information coming in. So when I see patients at the Rochester Clinic, we have this beautiful integrative assessment tool. It's not too big. It's enough for people, for what I'm hearing and seeing, that they're saying, wow, people in other spaces don't always show interest in understanding everything that's going on in my life. And I know that it is affecting my health. So they appreciate this questionnaire, and then sitting down and saying, okay, what is going on here? How are you supported in your work, in your home, in your family? How is food digesting? What is your mental health? Are you sleeping at night? And they're like, wow, nobody's asked me all this before. So that's the cornerstone of my practice, is getting information and listening. I have to say that previous in my practice, 20 years ago, I was talking a lot more than I needed to in those visits, because we had our agenda, all these things that had to be accomplished in the 20 minutes that we had people. So now there's a lot more listening. There's a lot more opportunity for clients to share their story, help me understand what their goals are, and then together we move toward healing goals.
So can you share a success story where this functional lifestyle medicine make a significant impact in a patient and the patient's health?
Oh, yes, so many. When I was thinking about how my practice has changed and how different it is now that I'm doing more of this integrative care, I think especially with women, but I just had a gentleman in the office, and it was really wonderful, because when you get into a situation where somebody finds that their health is not aligning with their value, and there's something that they want to do more, like this gentleman said, I want to feel comfortable playing with my grandchildren, and I'm really concerned about my health. And so he was ready to dive into some information, and we did lab work, and certainly he has some cardiovascular risk that he is now changing. So really important. Anytime I see these wonderful success stories, I'm dealing with somebody who is ready to ask the questions. Sometimes it's hard answers to see. Sometimes there's tears when they see all the work that we need to kind of peel apart. But I think that the most important thing is to find the reason why the person is coming in. And for women, especially when we are in transition in life and we are hormonally transitioning all the time, we have decreased energy, we have hormonal imbalances, digestive issues, and the why is I want to be vibrant, or maybe I want my menstrual cycles to be in order again. So when there's value placed on healing, we jump on that. And those are my success stories, is people are finding, okay, Dawn, I'm here because of this issue. Please help me with this. And this is my why. And when I can, grasp onto that why, we make progress. And those are success stories. So they're willing to see the information, and they're also willing to make lifestyle changes, which are not easy for many of us.
Yes, we have
So,
heard that. Yeah, it's much easier to change a person's religion than diet. Well,
Oh my gosh. Oh yes. All these wonderful ideas, and we all can go on the internet, but none of it is simple. And that's why there's such a market on diet and lifestyle, and well, other people are doing it, so it can't be too bad, and all of that. So yeah.
so you do see patients, whether it's any gender, that who really need help or who wish to optimize their health. So you help them, like you mentioned,
Mhm.
based on their goal, what they're trying to accomplish. But in general, you have a passion for women's health.
I do.
And when I'm at a Rochester clinic, I receive the phone calls for people, especially women, they looking for functional medicine. And I can kind of get a sense of their common struggles.
Mhm.
So can you kind of briefly give the audience an idea about women in general and what are missing in the traditional medicine now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think women, a lot of times for us as practitioners, it's one of the greatest challenges, because dynamically we really are changing constantly. And then as we mature and go through different hormonal changes, it is it it's all over the place. I mean, we're having children, we're just had a child, or we're now in our 40s, and we're losing the vital hormones of energy, and women will feel this. And for too many years, too many times, women are being told, that's just your stage of life. It's going to be okay. We'll give you some medication to help some of these symptoms, but they know that there's also an opportunity for healing and they want to understand it more. So a big part of what I will do is educate women on where they are at in that stage, because it can be very frightening when you don't feel well. I actually think that's the most important thing, is to get, information and diminish fear, because when we don't feel good, isn't that why we go, tell me what's going on? So even when you hear bad news, at least you understand what's going on. So for women, very complex, listening to this story, I have this amazing opportunity to do excellent blood work, so then I can show them where I think they're at in their transitions, or what might be going on with their digestion, with their mood. And it keeps going back to, how are we supporting our nutrition? Because without proper nutrition, you are not going to feel well. But women are actually more complicated than men. Our fluctuations are different. So there's a lot of listening, a lot of support, and fueling women to take control over what's most important, what they really maybe can hand off to somebody else, delegate other responsibilities. We're very stressed, and that affects our whole balance, and sleep. So it's complicated, but it's exciting, because there's a lot of, so I can do this, or I should do that. And a lot of confusion into where people should start. So I think women just like to be heard and get a plan that fits them, and we move forward. That's one of my favorite things. Move forward.
Touch my heart. I can relate.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so the patient that you have, especially in women, that what is the age range you have seen so far?
Oh, well, I see adolescents, I think by the time young women are in college, they're actually very interested in what's going on more with their bodies. In adolescence, there's so many things going on. I think mothers are interested in what's going on with their adolescent daughters. But yeah, I would say a range from, 18 to 70s. I do see, I have a couple elderly women that are dealing with nutritional concerns and digestive concerns. So, but many are in that perimenopause transition time, that it's just really, it's difficult. And we need more care. We need more information. Just saw a gal who had a hysterectomy in her early 30s. And this is such a sad situation, that in those years, so that was almost 20 years ago, insurance wasn't covering some of the hormone replacement. And so for years, she went without it because it was too expensive. And it really wreaked havoc on her life. So she's back, trying to take care of herself. And there's so many resources now, and great tools, and people are their shoulders are relaxing a little bit and saying, okay, I found a place where I'm gonna maybe get feeling better. So
yeah, you touch a few components right there. I would like to dig a bit deeper into, people don't usually get a connection between the estrogens, female hormones, and the stress, and how they relate to thyroid. So how would that all connect together?
Well, I like to remind women how powerful cortisol is. And it truly is, from all the literature that I'm reading, it makes so much sense to me. When you are pushing cortisol throughout the day, and I don't even have to measure it. I mean, truly, you could feel it, what's going on in your heart. If you hit the ground running, and women will say, well, I can't go to sleep at night, but when do you settle down? Well, about 8 o'clock, I shut everything off. So for 12 to 15 hours, they've been racing through their day. You cannot just shut off cortisol. And cortisol will fill all the receptors on these cells much more readily, because you're in danger. Your body thinks we're go, go, go. So estrogen falls off, progesterone falls off, dopamine, you know, you don't even digest your food as well. It's the cascade of problems. So it's interesting. Women will ask, you know, can you check my cortisol? Well, I think we know it's high because of what you've just shared with me. You know, they've got 3 kids at home, they work full time, they're married, they're busy in the evening. There's not enough downtime. So it trumps these hormones that need to be doing their job. And our thyroid comes under siege. Our sex hormones, our menstrual cycles get all mixed up. We have weird issues, and then we have to take something to sleep. So I talk a lot about how do we bring this down, because it'll create havoc everywhere for women.
Wow. Wow. Just from what you described, I think majority of the women
Yes,
population are on the same boat.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah, our lives are full, and we're more isolated in our family systems too, which is, you know, some people are really good at adopting grandparents or, you know, coming into a new community and finding their social circles of support in neighborhoods, but many are very, very isolated. I work with a gal, her husband works out of state, and that's what he does. He contracts he's not home. She's got 3 little kids and working, and her parents are a half hour away, which isn't that far, but it's not like it used to be when families were closer physically and emotionally and supporting each other. So women are under a lot of stress, a lot of stress.
So they get into the metabolic syndrome or coming from there,
Okay.
diabetes, everything like that. And how will a whole food plant-based nutrition play a role in managing all those symptoms?
It's such an amazing tool. So, you know, when we think about what do we need to stabilize blood sugars, to down-regulate this glucose up and down, is fiber, fiber, fiber. And every time we turn around, what do we need? We want to build up more complex carbohydrate and fiber to feed our system so that things can be more stable. It's an increased nutrient. I know that dairy and animal products have lots of proteins, and we're still focusing on that. We need protein, but we're forgetting that that's a very limited resource for other nutrients when we're eating meat and animal products. So then you go to the high protein plant-based foods and you get bathed in other nutrition, high fiber, great energy, and that keeps your blood sugar stable. Food cravings are limited because you've got more fiber in your system. And I don't know how you feel when that blood sugar spikes and then drops quickly. And people are doing that all day long, then you're eating again, or you're drinking a can of pop, or munching on something because you feel that low blood sugar. So metabolic syndrome is very well supported by whole food plant-based diet. My biggest challenge, and I like to use, you know, some of the tools that I look at. I show people, oh, these are a bunch of plant-based foods that can bring more diversity. What do you like to eat here? Or how can we increase a little bit more onto what you're already doing? It's very difficult for many people to say, okay, we're gonna go totally whole food plant-based. That's a huge commitment and it can be extremely frightening. So how do we add more vegetables, plants, protein-rich foods? There's a lot of people I see that do not eat any legumes.
yeah.
They don't like the texture of a bean or something. I'm like, mash it, you know, do something else with it then. So I like to start with understanding the nutritional risk if we're not eating enough of these foods and how it affects your metabolism. Most women are listening when we talk about blood sugar stabilization and the side benefit of weight loss. And, you know, the GLP-1s are coming into play so dramatically. If we eat more fiber, we're going to have our own more GLP-1 being produced. So I love to tell that story. And
Wow.
women are like, oh, I can do this. And again, we're not given this information that we can do these things within our own body. Let's rely on ourselves. So yeah,
Wow.
it's exciting because it's still a lot of new news for people.
I remember that GLP-1 is just the term, very fashionable term recently, kind of being well marketed by
Yes.
the pharmaceutical company, right?
Yeah.
Because in the past, I think that unless you are in academic, otherwise, general public really don't talk about the GLP-1. So now, because of this, we need to take the opportunity to educate people that very simple, the more fiber you produce, that you eat, the more GLP-1 your body can produce. Why you need to have additional, right? And that
Yeah.
causes more side effect as
Yeah.
There's so many things.
Yeah. And yet, you can reach some people more readily with that. Because like, oh, I can just do more. I had a woman in the office the other day. She's like, Dawn, I eat really well. And I said, well, but you still need more fiber. And so let's work on that. Let's just keep moving that direction. Very different from some people. I mean, I had a woman in my class one time and she says, well, it sounds like I need to just throw everything out in my pantry. And she was not happy. And well, no, but so much processed food and processed meats, eating out a lot. And she was really overwhelmed. So I need to be very careful in, moving more slowly with that and talking about, okay, so you're eating out 4 nights a week. How about going to 3 for the next month? These are big challenges for busy families. So
Yeah.
not everyone has a cook like you at home, May.
But it is not difficult, and that's why we want the voice um to be heard
Yeah.
and then also the type of a cooking, simple cooking can eat very nutritious and also very sustainable, very
Yeah.
cheap. That can be seen by many people. That's why this is so important. The message is so important. We hope that as many people as possible be able to hear your story and the knowledge you share. So wonderful that the way that how we empower people
Mhm.
to take the first step on how to move forward to the plant base, right? To add more things on so they don't feel like the kind of deprived by
Right. Right.
the eating. Yeah.
And not talk about bad food, good food. I
Yeah.
think it works so much better to talk about, okay, what's your nutrient density in the last 3 days that you've eaten? And it's like, oh, I guess I got some work to do,
Mm. And
Yeah.
a lot of time that when I also heard a lot of people saying, "Well, I eat very well. I'm very healthy," but everybody has a different definition of
Yeah.
eating well. So until that you allow people to share their story more about what am I eating every day normally, and that will help you sort things out for them.
Yeah.
I think that is so important to be heard. Yeah.
And I think it's very important that when you ask them to make changes, any aspect of the lifestyle medicine, and they really need to have that concept of taking charge of their own health.
Yes.
They are responsible for their own health. And
Yes.
how do you empower them, motivate them to take charge of their own health?
I really, really want to understand what the motivation is. People are walking into our offices and this is considered alternative medicine for many practices, because insurance doesn't always pay for all these consultations or some of the labs that we do. So if I can hone in again on why are you here? Well, because I've done all these things and nothing's working, or I don't understand still. And there's often some real energy in that message. So, really important to get to the motivating reason why. And then we can just jump off of that, you know. But I also have learned you just cannot overwhelm people with too much. So when we do, you know, we talk about SMART goals, and it's vital. So sometimes we have to, you know, kind of brainstorm, and then, well, what's most important here? Check this off, check this off. Where do we really want to concentrate on the next month? And go from there, because people get overwhelmed. Yeah, I had a woman that I was seeing, and she was drinking 3 energy drinks a day. They weren't in, you know, they weren't super cans or whatever, but they were in little packets. And when we found out what was in them, and that she was pretty much overdosing on a bunch of different things, that was really hard for her to hear. So I said, you know, can we please have you back off to just 1 packet a day? And there was aspartame in it. And then, okay, let's find an alternative to that artificial sweetener. So that was a big deal for that visit, because she really liked that drink mix. So I had to follow that. And that was her goal. Okay, we got to find something else for me to drink then, if I can't be drinking this aspartame, you know. And it's got to taste good, Dawn. It's tricky.
Sorry.
I know.
Bad news for good, bad news for their bad
Yeah,
habits.
yeah. But it truly is the only way that, you know, you can be in a situation where, you know, okay, how am I going to move forward with this? I can't even worry about all these other things. This is part of her daily routine that is really important to her. So
Yeah.
that's how then I can keep making progress. And then I also, I build a relationship with this person, and she's able to say, you know, Dawn's really working with me. We have to listen to what's most important to people.
You know, beside the nutrition, and also talk, you know, you in the beginning you talk about you gotta have the social connection, and pretty much like with the practice we always illiterate the 6 health component, you know,
Yes.
sleep well and do you do the movement. Now, speaking of a movement, if exercise and eating well is that easy, why we, for over several decades, we are still in this health crisis.
Mhm.
So in terms of a movement, what is your best tip for your clients?
Oh. Years ago, it was you need to move more, you know, get your 10,000 steps in, build muscle. And now I am more and more, talk about adding fire to the flame. Women are actually working out too much. They're, you know, they're pushing their bodies, and so then their activity is even more stressful on their body, raising cortisol, and then they're more hungry. So they're eating more because they're going to CrossFit 4 days a week or something like that, which is really related to a community of women coming together, having fun together in the evenings. But we have to down regulate some of this physical activity that is pushing another stress response. So understanding that for women is very, very important. So I think sometimes we're just overdoing it, and then we're eating more too, because our body is depleted in those aspects. Because yeah, we're exercising more, but we're not thinner than we were. You know,
Yeah.
it's you're right. It's not jiving, but I think many times now I'm telling women, you need more quiet time. Yes, you need a brisk walk. Do your CrossFit maybe 2 days a week, but to switch it up and allow some calming, restful time too, or you're going to be driving cortisol and eating more, gaining more weight. But I do know that the people that love CrossFit, they love the community. It's really a neat community. So it's difficult to say, well, don't go to CrossFit 4 days a week. They love being there. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
So
overdoing it.
Yeah.
are there any trends or innovations in the lifestyle, functional lifestyle medicine aspect that you are very excited about?
I think I'm excited that more of us in practice are utilizing it. We right now are in such a special place. Like I live near Owatonna, and we've got the Mayo system. Now we've got Olmsted system. We've got a lot of integrative chiropractic care. We have more people who need and understand that they need different types of care. So my office here, working in Rochester, it is about having another opportunity. There's more of us out there. People are understanding what this is, and they're talking about it and knowing that it's available. So, even 10 years ago, it was kind of a pod, and then we try to kind of work it into our practice. Well, this is a big reason why I decided that I was done with my work in Rochester, Mayo, because I couldn't integrate it anymore. We had, very set protocols. That's what we did. And at least in family medicine, I was able to integrate it a little bit more. So it was time for me to move on so that I could really focus on visits where people are hearing what's going on in functional medicine and understanding how they can heal in a world of general medicine and functional medicine. So we're more visible.
Good.
So, if you could share one message with women struggling with the chronic health issues, what would that be?
I love to tell women that right away, they've been kind of felt like they're being told that they have mental health issues. Lot of medications that are being prescribed for depression and anxiety and sleeplessness, mood stability, all that you are not crazy, that your body has changed because there's hormonal changes going on. And how do we support healing is, I think, a big issue is to be sure that women understand that they're not having a mental health crisis. Because there are many women that say something is really wrong with me and these antidepressants aren't working. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm crying a lot, all these kind of things. Whereas the symptom is depression and anxiety, but the underlying issue is that we have to support our body better. And so I really like to support women in understanding how their body is working. I mean, I talk details about what's happening. And then when we do blood work too, it's very clear, it's so helpful. And it's like, oh, I knew something, but they're hopeful then. They're hopeful. So
But
yeah,
I
I
can,
think that's the key.
but I can also share with you that men do feel the effects. I don't know what is called directly or indirectly. We do feel the effects.
Well, when your wife's cortisol is so high,
Yeah.
you can sense it, right?
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
we know.
Hit the ground
Yeah.
and you have to run
That,
120 miles an hour.
let's get a men's support group for menopause going.
I think, but no, really, Dr. Jen, that is really great too, because I have had women say, now I know how to answer my husband's questions about what in the heck is going on, because this is what they're hearing from their spouses too. It's like, what is going on with you? Are you okay? And then it's like, no, I don't know. So then they come home and they have learned these things, and then they're able to ask for what they need. And that's what, how are you going to, I love asking that question. So how are you going to share what you've learned today with your husband when he says, what in the heck is going on? Well, I'll tell you, and sometimes the sleep issue is really a very sensitive issue because we're sleeping less deep, we're not getting as restorative sleep, and then there's snoring going on. And so women are really torn between, how do I stay in my bedroom with my husband when I'm lightly sleeping and then I'm hearing him snoring all the time? Well, we have to figure out you know, maybe another quiet place to go if it's 2 a.m. and you need it quiet. Because you want to support that marriage too. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a
Yeah.
big deal.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope more women can hear you.
Yeah, tactics. Yeah.
Oh my. Well, you know what, Dawn, I think we need to have another session. And we should encourage men come to join the session as well, because then they know, how women's body is so complicated, and then why we respond that way. It is all the science reason behind that.
Oh yeah. And then there's more mutual respect too, you know? And I think any man knows that we're complicated, but to really gain more respect for the whole as, you know, our femininity and this beautiful vital energy that we have, I like to empower women on that. So
Oh, wonderful. I see. I feel like there will be a lot of more avenue that we can work even further with the other integrative medicine practitioners, such as the Reiki, or sound healing, or
yes.
meditation. I mean, there are so many
Yeah.
modalities that we can incorporate.
Yeah. Yeah. We have, our lives are full. I love my full life. I really, really do. But there's often times where I'm being reminded, and it's so, my father was just an amazing wise man, and he would say, you need to cool your jets, you know? And I'm like,
Oh.
I know, I do. But there's so much excitement in our world, and we have to discern what's right now, what's going to be maybe next season or something like that. So, yeah.
I like that.
I think there's one interesting questions before we close. Yes. I know your father was a physician.
Yes.
What did he think about the functional medicine approach here?
Oh, I love to answer that question because yeah, I was very happy as a registered nurse. I was working in home care and hospice. But I was just yearning for a closer relationship with my patients and families. And so I was encouraged to go into my master's program to become a nurse practitioner. And my mother says, I don't know, that's a lot of responsibility. And dad says, nurse practitioners. Well, it wasn't one of his favorites. You know, this was in the late 80s. He had just retired. And so then I started practicing, and it opened up this whole new beautiful world. And he became a proponent of nurse practitionership, and then he could see how, as a nurse, I was bringing in this integrative care, and that's family medicine. That's old-fashioned family medicine. And dad and I just became closer in regard to our foundational understanding of what healthcare really is. And so, yeah, he would see nurse practitioners and a whole new, he would literally see them at the office, and he's like, oh yeah, my daughter's a nurse practitioner. So sometimes you have to be exposed. And I believe as nurses, we really have that integrative, we're built for this, you know, it's really a great career. So
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
We love
Anything
you.
else you want to share with the listeners?
Oh, I would love to see people, you know, get on your website, see all the things that you're doing, and the Lotus Foundation, all the upcoming, so helpful education things that are coming up in the next weeks, and really look at what are those pillars of health, and just think about, where am I in these pillars of health? What could I be working on? Who could I turn to for more support? It's just a beautiful self-reflective thing that people can do on your website, and see what, if you want to see us, and we'll help you move forward. So
Oh, before we close it, we say that many times. October 6th,
Uh-huh.
10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Dawn will join us, will join May and Dr. J at a 125 Live, the health talk, and a cooking demo. And October is the breast cancer prevention month, international, right? Internationally. So you are going to entertain a talk about the breast cancer prevention, the cancer prevention, and the powerful food and what people can do in a nutshell for 30 minutes.
Oh my God. And really, in a nutshell, it truly is about supporting our immune system. Because again, we have rogue cells all the time in our body. How do we naturally fight those? Get rid of them, flush them out. You have to have a vessel that is tuned in and ready to, have a good immune system. And that's plant-based. That's
Mhm.
it's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So
So we
yeah,
excited.
it's very exciting. Lots of good literature. So
Yeah. So we will hear you again on at 125 Live. And also I know that you are not able to join us at October 10th. That's a big breast cancer
yes,
rally at 125 Live, but you have been very supportive. The audience can find you, search Dawn Ritter, will find you at the Rochester Clinic. But if any people they live very far away from Rochester, in the more toward the Owatonna area, they also can reach out to you.
yes, yep. I'm
Mhm.
in the neighborhood. So
Yes.
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
so
So,
much.
so how can the listeners connect with you or learn more about the functional medicine program in the Rochester Clinic?
Well, get on that beautiful website and I mean, you have your numbers available. And my routine in Rochester is would love to be there, once a week. So we try to coordinate my visit with patients' needs for visits. So yeah, I'm available. I'm not there every day, but we would certainly, set up appointments through the clinic, and the numbers are available on your website. So
Yes.
that'd be
So
awesome.
it's a rochesterclinic.com and then 507-218-3095.
And we will
Yeah.
put that on our this episode link as well, so people can
Yeah.
find us. Well, it is a pleasure to have you, Don. The time fly. I feel like we have a lot more to talk about, so hopefully that you are coming back again, so we
So
can have
fun.
a further discussion more.
No, I'm so
Okay.
grateful for both of you for your investment in this community of wellness, because it is a gem. It really is.
Oh, thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Thank you.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you. We are going to thank for all the audience listening to this episode, and we thank you for joining us, the Healing Step to Wellness.
I'm Dr. J.
And I am May, guiding you toward whole person health
One step
and one bite at a
at a
time.
time.
Yeah, we'll see you
See
next
you
time.
next time.
Thank you.